Let's talk about a well-deserved massive night for George Kittle on the eve of his birthday. Today is George's birthday, so last night he got the party started early. 3 touchdowns, career high for George Kittle. What about all that talk from the portion of the fan base that's wrong about everything about George Kittle's supposed regression? There's no regression happening. He's still the best blocking tight end in football. And when the 49ers do use him in the pass game, I think he's the best receiving tight end in football. He's just not used that way, so he might not help your fantasy team as much on a week-to-week basis, but I'm sure that he helped your fantasy team plenty with those 3 touchdowns yesterday. Anyway, George Kittle, ultimate competitor. In a game like the one that we saw against Dallas, where the 49ers needed a versatile run block / pass route threat to take advantage of Dallas's over-aggressiveness on defense, Kittle was absolutely perfect. He was the leading receiver against the Cowboys in the playoffs in January, 5 catches, 95 yards. He was the leader for the 49ers again. It was easy to predict that George Kittle would have a big game if you looked at this with a clear mind. And it was a little less easy to predict what he was wearing underneath his jersey. But George Kittle, he honors 49ers history. And he honored 49ers history Gary Plummer style with the F Dallas gray t-shirt, which he showed off to the fans yesterday at Levi's Stadium. I walked up to George's locker before this all came out. He's like, I got to show you something. And he pulled out a gray tank top. The gray tank top had a very poignant message to the Dallas Cowboys. And it's an homage to what Gary Plummer wore back in the 1990s when this rivalry burned really, really hot. Remember that George, he receives handwritten notes from his dad, Bruce, for every single 49ers game. And these notes, it's a combination of philosophy, spiritual preparedness for games, and Bruce works in some 49ers history in there. I don't know what the exact contents of this particular note before the Cowboys game was. I don't know if there was talk about the 49ers and their history with Dallas. I don't know if there's talk about Gary Plummer, but George Kittle is certainly aware of it. And he showed us his great t-shirt. And then he said, don't post about it, but then he posted about it himself on Instagram. So it's fair game at this point. And I'll tell you one more cool thing. George Kittle, after his career night, showed us his phone background, his phone screen wallpaper background. It is that picture of Gary Plummer. So he wore the shirt, the undershirt, showed it off, scored 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys, put himself firmly into 49ers Cowboys lore, and also connected what he did and what he wore with the 49ers past. Beautiful morning, by the way, here in San Francisco, Presidio Heights. Very nice houses. And not far from here in Lower Pack Heights, I went to Amita's Cafe today. Got the breakfast sandwich there. I believe the same recipe, same owners as Breakfast Little, which is in the Mission District. So Amita's Cafe here in San Francisco. Very, very good for the breakfast sandwich. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Is today George's birthday? Tomorrow. Okay. Didn't even realize. We all came up here for Ready Ninja. What, you surprised me? That's awesome. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Party!
So being able to see Vernon pregame, I think he told me to score 3 to tie his record. So I was like, oh, fine, Vernon, I'll do it. I'll tell him more often. But no, Brock's just so consistent every single day. He's the same guy he is on Wednesday as he is on Sunday. He's super detailed. He's super confident. It's everything you want in a quarterback. And he's just playing at such a high level right now. And I think really the best thing he does, you guys see it, he's just his ability to move in the pocket, keep his eyes up, and see things develop. And so if he doesn't hit you like when he's supposed to, he sees the second window. He's just very, very good at that.
George, let me ask you.
Yes.
When was your last 3 touchdown game?
That was my first one. Yeah, I think so.
Top one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was a hell of a 7th grade running back. Yeah, running back and defensive end. I had a lot of sacks as well. But yeah, no, it's been a minute. But it's always fun.
You mentioned Purdy keeping his eyes downfield. On your 3rd touchdown, he's kind of rolling left a little bit. Is it like you made like a second move on that? Or
no, I mean that was a play design. I think Christian just did a really good job. The DN got a little bit upfield, and he just, like I said, Brock's pocket awareness and being able to move and like keep his feet in position so he can make all those throws. He's a robot, man. He's just very special.
Given the said that you could tell that Brock was kind of on today. Did you tell that from early on?
I think Brock's always on. Like I said, when you see him on Wednesday, he's on. It's the first day. We get like 100 first and second down passes and 50 runs, and he knows all of the cans. He knows how to change the play. He does everything. So he's just so prepared every single day.
Is that kind of more stunning because he's so young, career-wise?
Yes and no. I always say that one of the things about Brock that allows him to be a really good quarterback is he played for 4 years at Iowa State. So like he played a lot of, he's played a ton of snaps, and he's just been able to play, and he's had the highest of highs, he's had the lowest of lows, he's had to come back, he's had to play through tough seasons, and just when you experience all the highs and lows in college, and when you get to the NFL, you're just kind of prepared for it. And I'm not trying to compare college to the NFL, but he's just had so many reps that it's allowing him to play like a vet.
How could somebody who's played so well in his college career he ended up being the last pick in the NFL draft? I still can't figure that out.
They'll probably say something about his size and his hands are too small to hold the football.
George, you addressed each of your touchdowns. It seems like brought through with a different pace. Like on the line, off. Do you see that every day in practice, or?
Yeah, I mean, he throws some ridiculous footballs in practice, and everyone likes to tweet during training camp about interceptions and stuff like that, but that's just him getting ready for the season. He's going against, in my opinion, the best defense in the NFL, and honestly, the best thing about training camp for us was really that Nick Bosa didn't play. And so we were able to actually have an offense. And he didn't have to disrupt every single play if he wasn't going against Trent Williams. Nothing against our tackles, that's just how good Nick Bosa is. And so we were actually able to, have fun drives. He was able to look downfield and just get used to it and build chemistry with all of our skilled players. And that's really what it is.
You've been a part of it, but you've won a lot of games and convincing that. But in terms of a total team performance tonight, where would this rank?
I mean, I think that's one of our best team performances. On Sunday Night Football, it's my favorite night to play because everybody's watching. There's a ton of football that just played, and everybody's sitting at home with their friends and family, either celebrating or mourning, but they're still watching that game. And for us to go out like that, and you talk about our defense. Fred Warner played a hell of a game tonight. Interception, forced fumble, bunch of tackles. Our whole D line was fantastic. And you look at our special teams. Wisnowski just can't not punt it great. He's been fantastic. All those punts inside the 10, inside the 5. It's really difficult as an offense to do that, especially when you're coming out of the end zone and our crowd's really loud. George Odom's fantastic. He had all those tackles on special teams. He really sets the tone, gets the crowd going. And then every time you put the ball in one of our skill positions' hands, they have an opportunity to score a touchdown. So we have a really good team. We're healthy, and we're clicking right now.
Given how last year,
How long have you been waiting for that flea flicker to be called?
We've had that installed since last year. I want to say week 7 or 8. And it's just always up. I'm like, dude, can we call it? And we called it last year in the NFC Championship game with Christian. Didn't throw because I think I was quadruple covered. Didn't really have much threat of throwing last year, but it was fun. I was sitting on my couch and I saw Laporta scored on it with the Lions, and I was like, saying to my tight end coach, I was like, dude, they ran our play. How'd they know? He was like, don't worry, we're gonna run it better. And it's 10 yards farther out, so I guess that counts. But I'm never upset when 2 Iowa tight ends are scoring on the same play.
given how last,
When you hear it called in the huddle, are you thinking, okay, this is my?
100% touchdown. And then the best part about that was it's usually on the dummy, which means that Brock's getting up there, wide A, say hut, and pretend that we're going to change it to a new play. And the play clock was running down, so we just went on 1 instead, and our Colton thought it was still on the dummy, so he doesn't even move. So I had to stay in a little bit longer to not let the defensive end just blow up the whole play. So at first I was like, oh, this is going to be not great because the corner was just sitting out there at safety, and then turns out he tried to go over Christian, and I was able to run down the sideline.
How often do you guys practice that this week, George? What was the move when you were doing it?
Twice. I think we ran it on Wednesday in the walkthrough. We ran it on Friday in the walkthrough, and then we ran it again on Saturday in the walkthrough. So whenever you get something ran 3 times, that means you're probably going to run the day.
Given how last year against the Cowboys, you had a big game. You're obviously pretty featured part of the passing game plan. Did you sense that today you'd be heavily featured again?
Yes and no. I mean, I would say like last week versus the Cardinals, I thought I was going to have 150 yards and 3 touchdowns, and you just didn't, just not the way that the game went. And Kyle calls whatever's hot. That's how he feels, and that's why he's such a talented play caller. I knew I had some activity in the red zone this week, which was really fun. And you can see like the first play was one of our favorite red zone plays. Called it, go up 7-0, and then we had that trick play, and then the last one too. We actually just took it from New England. They ran it this past week. I think they ran it last or whenever. Yeah, they ran it against them and it worked out really well. So it was just fun to be able to get in the end zone.
Did you know you were that much better than them, and what did you learn about your team winning so decisively, really all aspects of the game?
I think Dallas is a fantastic football team. They really are. They have athletes all over the football field. They can make plays. I mean, I think their first touchdown, that deep shot, was a hell of a catch by the wide receiver. Wonderful ball by Dak. It's just the thing about in our offense and defense, especially, we're just a very violent football team, and the hits just kind of add up after a while. Whether whoever's dealing, whether it's Trent Williams on the block or Fred and Dre on the pass play, or our safeties coming down, like those things build up after a while, and that's how our training camp. That's how our kind of how our OTAs is. That's how our training camp is. Like we're a violent physical football team, and that's just the standard of the 49ers. And I still go back last year. My favorite statistic ever is every team that played us lost the next week. And that's our goal. Is you have to get up for us, and that's just kind of how we play regardless. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but we're going to be as violent as we can every single game.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Looking at now, and the player you've seen back in early January, late 22, it's a different player. You know what I'm saying? It's the mental bank has more in it. As obviously you can't buy experience. Experience is the one thing that can help any player in any system. So Brock has the experience. He played in some huge games. He started 40-some games in college. So and going and being at Iowa State, he's playing probably competition a little bit better. So I think he's going to continue to grow. I think what we're seeing now is not where he's going to be. He's going to be better than that. He's going to continue to get better every week, and our job is just to keep him upright so he can continue to develop.
After that face mask of McCaffrey, did that increase the intensity?
I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't even see it. But anytime we get a face mask, it's 50-yard penalty. Everybody loving that. I don't know if it made anybody go harder, but you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, glad y'all made that mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Did you get a sense that your own defense took Dallas's ` defense billing personally?
I don't know. I don't know if they did. Maybe you can ask one of them. Mm-hmm. But I know that when one and two defense going against each other, you know what I'm saying. I think that's a whole game in itself. You know what I'm saying. And obviously they're competing. You got Micah, you got Nick Bosa. All of those guys want to make an impact on the game. Being both of the 2 best pass rushers and that the game has to offer. So I think maybe they took that as a challenge. I don't know. They look exactly the same as I see them every week. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.